Welcome to the Really Likable Geeks podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Stuart.
And this is the podcast where we talk about nerd stuff and things that keep you from going outside.
We'll get to you, sir. Wait your turn.
Like video games, comic books, anime, and other nerd things alike. This episode of the Really Likable Geeks podcast is brought to you by Audible. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. We got a special guest with us this week.
We do.
That's not special.
Someone. I'm not a guest either.
No.
And I am special.
I thought you were going to tell him.
My mother told me I was very special.
Okay. Never mind.
It's Ampyx.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Your real name is Dillon.
My name is Dillon, but I go by Ampyx on the internet.
Yes, he does.
I do.
Before we get more into you, book of the week there, Stuart.
Hey, this is payback for trying to jump the line there.
Sorry.
This is a rated G podcast. PG, I would say. Anyways, book of the week there, Stuart.
This week, the book is It by Stephen King.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good book.
It's fantastic.
It's great.
Let me tell you something about
Is it
Let me
lit?
hear it.
It's
Lit,
super
dude.
lit.
Lit.
Oh, yes.
It's lit.
Lit.
Don't.
fam.
No,
Do you
Debbie.
have like hundreds?
Yeah.
And that little like crying face?
And the
flame?
sweat
Oh,
and then an
yes.
eggplant. Yeah.
Yes.
To the children, the town was their whole world. To the adults knowing better, Derry, Maine was just their hometown. Familiar, well-ordered for the most part, a good place to live. It was the children who saw and felt what made Derry so horribly different. In the storm drains and the sewers, it lurked, taking on the shape of every nightmare, each one's deepest dread. Sometimes it reached up, seizing, tearing, killing. The adults, knowing better, knew nothing. Time passed, and the children grew up, moved away. The horror of it was deep buried, wrapped in forgetfulness, until they were called back once more to confront it, as it stirred and coiled in the sullen depths of the memories, reaching up again to make their past nightmare a terrible present reality.
Dun, dun,
Done.
If there was one fictional book or movie that gave as many children nightmares about clowns, it would be this one.
Would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's live in theaters for us to go see again.
Oh, it's
today.
fan. It's pretty good. I saw it.
I actually saw it the other day.
Yeah. The producer and I saw it.
I haven't had a
It
chance to
was-
see it yet.
It was pretty good. They did not. So if you guys remember the old like 80s one, they kind of pulled punches with like how brutally he murdered children. This one did not. Like the first child in the sewer, like at the beginning, Georgie,
Dude, that arm was just like,
his arm got ripped off by that
I was
clown.
surprised. I was like, whoa.
I was like, oh,
that just
oh my God.
happened.
this confirms everything I suspected about clowns.
They're evil and they rip arms off.
They eat children. They did not. They took out
They
they took out the
like
one
clowns.
part of the book that people were always kind of like,
Kind of iffy about.
The end.
What was that? What was that part?
Did you ever read the book?
I didn't.
There was one part in the book where the girl, what's the girl's name? Beverly.
Yeah,
Where
Beverly.
Beverly, for some reason, sleeps with all the other boys of the Losers Club
Oh, they took that out?
Oh.
of the movie.
In the movie,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
made her
Oh.
seem like she like had that reputation, but it really wasn't how she actually was.
So that's what happened in the book too. Like she has that reputation,
Gotcha.
but then in the book she actually does sleep with all the boys.
okay. So it was real.
And that wasn't.
Gotcha.
It's probably because of her milkshakes.
It's like,
Just to bring the boys to the yard.
Bring the boys to the yard.
and they're like,
It's
it's better than yours.
probably better.
Well, okay, so she's the cold one.
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
They popped it open.
They cracked that open.
Good job, Matt.
So yeah, they took that scene out, which
I mean,
obviously,
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
because people always gave Stephen King crap over it, and his response was always, there are children being ripped apart and eaten, and this is the part of the book that you have an issue with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like teenage kids having sex.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that never happens.
That never happens.
But clowns eating kids? Hey, every day.
Yeah,
Every
for
day.
sure.
Birthday parties.
Just, you
Birthday
know,
parties after.
Sometimes we lose kids to the sewer. Life. Crazy. Anyways, that book's
So
scary.
what are we talking about this week, Matt Areno? Hi, Matt. What are we
on,
talking
Steve?
about this week, Matt?
Well, in keeping with our October spooktacular,
Spooktacular.
Ooh, spoopy.
right? Yeah.
Spoopy.
We're going to talk more about horror stuff. We talked about video games,
Yes, we did.
and this time I think we should bring it around to Ampyx.
Bring it around town.
Because Ampyx, for those of us who don't know, is big in the music scene. We should talk about some music.
Some scary.
Why don't you first
Spoopy music.
go into more who you are?
Let's get some more detail.
More
All right.
deets about Dillon.
On
Let's
the
plug
big
you.
D.
Okay, so my name is Ampyx, Ampyx.
Oh, that plug.
See, some people will be like Ampex, Ampex, or some people call me Ampyx. It's whatever.
Somebody called you Ampyx?
Ampyx, dude. Like that was kind of like I kind of accepted it for a while.
Did you kick their ass?
I didn't. I just kind of let it happen.
No, that's
So
you gotta set an example.
obviously it's Ampyx, but then people started calling me Ampy, and so it's just like
Aw.
this weird. Yeah, I know, right? It's like
like,
I'm a 24-year-old
like-
grown man with a beard, and hey, Ampy. Like, okay, like, whatever. But I do make music. I make electronic house, like melodic house type stuff.
You triggered Matt just now.
Did I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
I'm gonna rewind just a second
Go
here.
for it.
You sounded a little bit offended, like your manliness was questioned because you're a 24-year-old man with a beard who says, "Oh, I didn't called Ampy."
You know,
you're a 24-year-old man with a beard who had a Twilight Sparkle wallet. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a Rainbow Dash wallet.
My bad, Rainbow Dash
But
wallet.
I wasn't 24 when I had it.
Okay.
I wasn't.
That doesn't make it any
that
better.
makes it okay.
That makes it okay.
The photo is still on my Facebook. When I got it, I was so proud of it. It was a Rainbow Dash wallet, and it had her tail sticking out the back. And so the idea was that you would put it in your pocket, and the tail would be sticking out.
No.
What kind of people do you keep bringing to this show?
I used to be a hardcore brony, but
I promise you, I had no.
if it's any
No knowledge
correlation,
in this.
I never wore it that way. It was fully inside my pocket. But
I-
the looks that I
story.
would get when I would go to pay for things,
No, it doesn't.
you know, there was this
So
one
you
time.
put Rainbow Dash fully in your pants.
Did you ever
Yeah.
go to like a bar and pull that out?
Well, let me tell you something.
Oh no! Story
Here we
time.
go.
Here we go. All right, with the Rainbow Dash wallet. So I was at this retreat. I was with my buddies Ron and Juan, and there was this girl looking at she wasn't looking, she was selling stuff at this like concession stand. And I had went up there or whatever, and I didn't buy anything at the time, but we were like talking or whatever, and I go back, and of course guys are like, oh, go get her number or something. I was like, well, I have to go buy something. And so I went up there, and then I pull out my wallet, right, and to like pay for the thing, and I realized I have a My Little Pony wallet, and at this point in time, it's like all chances are lost. Right, like there's no way that she is gonna give me her
drier
number.
than the Sahara.
Yeah. So that was probably at that moment. That was the last time I actually
did you
used
get the
that
number?
wallet. I didn't get the number.
To be fair,
Did she make fun
Oh
of
wait,
you?
no, I
would-
did get the number. I totally did. I did.
what?
Get, I did
No,
get
you
the
didn't.
number.
Okay.
I did get
I'm
the
gonna,
number.
means he's
I'm gonna
got
tell you.
play
No,
there.
no, no.
But nothing
Then she's
happened
even
with it.
crazier.
Maybe
Because if she sees a
Maybe that's
grown
okay.
man with a Rainbow Dash wallet and she's like, yeah, he might be nice.
He's got his
There's
life
something
together.
wrong with her.
that's
Like
true.
she's even like being a brony is one thing. Like that's not.
Yeah.
That's not that.
I think that. So I was 19 at the time, or like 18 or 19. So I won't say I was
you're not
fully
helping
grown
your
yet.
case here, bro.
I'm trying to help my case a
You're
little
not.
bit here.
Yeah,
But-
18's legally adult, bro.
Yeah.
You're grown.
All right. I was grown. I had
Back
a
in
Rainbow
that
Dash
time, you
wallet.
could buy
You can
Xbox.
die in a war and you can vote.
Yeah, I could, but I did get her number. But what I was remembering is that nothing ever happened with it. Like I would try to hit her up. and
Oh
she
man,
would
I'm
always-
so surprised.
But for whatever reason, she
Was
gave
it the
her
Hurricane
number.
Katrina relief number?
It wasn't. It was her actual number. It was her actual number. But
You haven't heard
whatever.
that?
Yes.
Rest in peace. But yeah, I forget what else.
Well, if you're listening out there, whoever you were, you missed out because
I forgot
now
my
he's
purpose
big.
in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us more
Oh
about
man,
your
so
non My Little Pony.
yeah. So with
So after you went through that phase, what
brony
happened?
stuff aside, I started the Ampyx project when I was 16, and I really wanted to be a dubstep artist. So that was like my thing. I wanted to be Skrillex. Hence the name. The X in my name is only because Skrillex had an X in his name, and I really wanted to be like Skrillex. So thus Ampyx was born, and my first song, Paradox, hit the shelves in 2012, and that was the only
With an X at the end of it.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme.
Wasn't
Yes,
it two
there was
X's?
a theme. It was AMPYX and then Paradox with obviously the X at
Yeah.
the end. Yeah. And so it only lasted one song. And so realistically,
calling
what
him
was
a woman.
happening,
I get it.
I was with my buddy, and we weren't really co-producing, but he had like a lot of influence in the type of music I was making. And
Skrillex?
no, my buddy Juan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not Ron.
And so I whenever I kind of like broke off, I didn't like broke off with Juan or whatever, but when I would produce on myself, I would make these like 4 on the floor type beats. I would start to produce music that was more melodic and happy and stuff like that. And then Ampyx just turned into a like an uplifting chill step, and then it turned into melodic house. And then whenever I released Rise, that's when I got, I don't want to say like my big break, but I did have a little bit of virality happen this year. I hit 1 million in 2 months for the song Rise. It actually went through. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Music is starting to, I don't want to say like take off because it's not like super taking off, but it's starting to go places. And so I'm really happy to see that. I would love to pursue music as a full-time thing. So whatever the steps are to take it, to go there, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Dub.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So
It's great that with platforms like YouTube and SoundCloud and other things like that, is that you can put out professional sounding music without signing to a label.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Free
but,
platforms are awesome.
yep.
Jared Leto put out that documentary a year or two ago about how he was trying to break 30 Seconds to Mars away from their record contract.
Yeah.
And it was just like such a huge ordeal, like which you would think wouldn't be, I just don't want to be on this record label anymore. But it was.
Yeah. I think, well
It's
at that
cash cow.
point,
They don't want to let him go.
yeah. At that point,
They're
so
making a lot of
handsome.
money.
yeah. If you're signed to a label that's like a big, market name label that's huge, like Sony or whatever, they own a lot of you at that point. And so it does get hard.
As
However,
horrible as that sounds.
yeah. But like I
We
signed
own
to
your
like
soul.
royalty-free stuff. And so the only things that the labels own is the actual music piece. And I'm free to do whatever the heck I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot more freedom there. Yeah, I get like a 50% royalty cut, which sucks, but it's a price to pay for the exposure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It'll
it's a
pick up.
totally different world now. For
It'll
sure.
pick up for sure
Yeah.
over time.
So
1.3 million is big though, especially with.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
When it hit 1 million, I was surprised. But I don't know. Like I was talking with my buddy Valesco about it. He has a song on Trap Nation, and I asked him about it because this was before I even had Rise on the shelves. He hit 1 million with his song Cloud 9, and then now it's at 20 million. I was like, bro, what's that feel like? What's that feel like? And he's like, man, it's just like I just wake up and I just have the song. And it's just, after the first 1 million, you just don't really feel anything. I was
Yeah.
like, no, there's no way. But now I have the 1 million, and I kind of get what he's saying because it does grow consistently, and it's never enough. I think that people, we get caught up in this motion of, if I could just reach this, I'll be happy. If I could just reach this, I'll be happy. When in reality, you reach that, and then okay, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Well, I think
so. Yeah,
It's never
really
enough.
well.
it's
the
never
really
enough.
great artists, doesn't matter what genre of music, they always stay hungry.
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
how you keep
Yeah,
you
for
keep
sure.
from getting stagnant. Like I don't know, name insert band here
Right.
that
Sure.
got crap after their first or second album.
Right.
Yeah.
How about Metallica after Saint? Oh, I'm sorry, at Saint Anger and Beyond.
Such
Oh,
a
yeah.
terrible.
That was a bad.
It's
album.
like, did you have a blind and deaf person mic your drums and tune them?
yes.
It sounds like he's hitting a wet sock. Like I just don't understand that. Like his snare drum on that whole album was the worst sounding
I thought
thing.
Helen Keller did
It
a great
sounded
job with
terrible.
that. All right.
Dang.
That's just such an awful album from like a good, genuinely good and talented band.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's just, album is garbage.
And they haven't done a lot better since.
They've done nothing since because that after that is when he blew his voice out.
Yeah.
and he can't.
I haven't kept up with it.
And now I
saw
like,
him-
it sounds like
I
he's
saw him
having a
at
stroke
the,
on stage.
Yeah, I saw him at the Rock and Roll Hall
Yeah.
of Fame like 6
I saw him at
years ago.
BlizzCon.
Awful.
BlizzCon.
They're
I saw him at BlizzCon, and so yeah, it's Metallica. It's cool, but it's
he can't do it anymore.
Can't really do it anymore.
sucks.
Like the music portion sounds fantastic.
Yeah, they're still talented.
But once you
musicians,
start
but
singing,
can't.
you're like, I
Nope.
Nails on a
That's
Chalkboard's
not
cool.
the same anymore.
time to pack it in, bro.
it's like Tom
Back it
DeLonge.
in.
You've already made.
It's like Tom DeLonge's voice now. He just can't do it.
Yeah,
He can't
it's
do it.
sad. Like there's some
That's what he sounds like.
there's some artists who didn't blow their voice out and can still perform. Simon and Garfunkel still
Yeah.
sound just as good as they did like New York in the Park.
Oh,
concert.
by the way, rest in peace, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of that, another guy
Yeah.
who had a great voice until the end.
Yeah.
Yes, the great Tom Petty has passed.
Forever
He'll be
resting
forever
with our
missed, and I will
souls.
forever listen to his music because it's great.
Yeah.
So, thank you for giving us an insight on what you do there. If you guys like any sort of EDM, trance, house, dub.
If you guys are gonna
check it out,
ingest
Ampyx.
a bunch of Molly and listen to music,
Oh my gosh.
why
You're
not?
gonna trip acid.
Why not Ampyx?
Yeah.
Yep. It's all free. You can use it in your videos.
Ampyx, Ampyx. You
Drugs
search him
cost
on
money.
YouTube, and he
Music
will
is
come
free.
That's right.
come up everywhere on YouTube. If I search you on YouTube, it's just like so many things. It's just like it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, all your viewership is over 100,000 in a lot of respects. Like it's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
He's
Yeah. Thank you.
rising to the top.
Rising up.
We could say it's rising.
That's because it's a song.
Because
The song is rising. You know?
I get it.
So to tie that in, spoopy music. Music is great, of course. But of course, without the advent of spoopy music, we wouldn't exactly have. I don't think horror films would be as scary as they are.
There wouldn't be horror films.
No, it would just be a lot of weird stuff happening.
When you had
Suddenly.
prior to sound in films, you had the silent films, the black and white films. Horror was not something they could even conceivably have done.
Right.
Simply because
I will argue against that.
Oh crap!
Okay.
Nosferatu.
Fight.
Oh.
Fair.
Which one?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Nosferatu
Oh yeah.
was a soundless movie.
True. I will make my argument not so much that it's impossible, but incredibly
Difficult.
unlikely and also much more difficult to achieve than when you have sound. Because take, for instance, Orson Welles. Most people listening to that radio broadcast didn't think it was radio.
You're talking about War of the Worlds.
Yes,
Yep.
but that's what I'm saying.
Some people thought it was actually happening.
A lot of people.
When
Yeah.
they had sound, they had something to go off of. Sound is a
I was just
major
pointing
gateway.
out that's probably the only exception to that rule.
and,
Yes.
and even then, I would say
Nosferatu is gnarly.
yes, but it also relied a lot on the like Hitchcockian, where it's all in your head.
Yes.
Hitchcock always had great scores to back
Yes,
his because yeah, exactly.
It does.
It
Yes.
does. If you have, I think on YouTube you can watch a compilation of some of the scariest horror scenes, but with no music.
And they're not.
they're not scary.
It's just not.
You're just like, wow,
it's not
that's
the same,
going down.
because you just see like
That's really going
what's
down.
her name getting stabbed in the shower in Psycho, and without that violin scratch, that violin scratch.
It's just like a chick getting killed.
It's like
She's dead.
just a chick
There's
getting
another
stabbed in
one
the
too.
shower.
Yeah, I saw
Whatever.
that on GTA last night.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few of them. Like I have seen that actually, and it's not scary. It's like, wow, that's pretty bad, but it's not like the music definitely
The one-
enhances the
It does.
the aspect of the entire
I think the
film at that
one
moment.
like horror soundtrack or like music that like always stuck with me the longest was Halloween.
Oh yeah.
That
for sure.
that piano melody is
Yeah.
just so
It's amazing.
inherently creepy.
Well, you know, it's another creepy melody that kind of stuck with me, and it's because the show's gnarly, but X-Files, the X-Files theme is terrifying. The X-Files theme. Anytime I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's happening. Like every time, like, you know, like those memes videos that'll come up where it's like the cat like looks and then the 2 seconds of the X-Files song comes, it still sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
It still does. Because it's a creepy song.
The Twilight Zone.
It's creepy. That you don't
There's
think
a
the
well-known
X-Files theme song is
Twilight
creepy?
Zone.
That's a well-known theme.
So do I. But the
Yeah,
theme song
that's-
is creepy.
It,
It's
it,
creepy.
it does the the minor progression.
Yeah.
And that's just inherently creepy.
It's creepy. Because
could
I try to
argue
think
that-
of like other sci-fi or horror-esque, whatever scary kind of stuff that has that. None of them stand up to X-Files.
No, he's right. Twilight Zone.
Yeah, Twilight Zone. Yeah,
Yep.
but
That's a good one.
that's a good
That
one.
freaking
Creepy.
Ah, those pig nose people. That was the worst.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, you know
I hate
the
that episode.
the scariest Twilight Zone for me was the gremlin on the plane or whatever it was on the plane. wheel.
Yeah,
Oh,
with Captain
yes.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was gnarly.
With Kirk.
No, thank
There's
you.
something on the wing of the
window.
plane.
Oh yeah.
Cut. Turn around.
And they're like, you need to relax.
Overacting the crap out
And
of
a
it.
big shout out to the band Anthrax. They have a music video called Inside Out with my uncle when he was singing for him. And the whole music video is that entire scene
Yeah.
from Twilight Zone. It's awesome. Check it out. It's called Inside Out by Anthrax. That's an old song from like forever ago.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic. But it's like, instead of seeing the gremlin on the wing, it's the band on the wing. It's freaking awesome.
Which
it's
I think
fantastic.
seeing Ian Scott on the wing of my plane is equally scary.
Going hard on the
A gremlin.
I honestly seeing
That's awesome.
Seeing Ian Scott on the wing of the plane would probably make me react in the exact same way. We need to turn around.
round.
That and what's
yeah.
the little boy Danny?
Yeah.
"We send you to the cornfield."
Oh,
Like,
my
what does that mean?
Yeah.
He turns his dad into like that Jack in the Box.
Oh yeah.
Twilight Zone had some moments. Like, what was the one about the dude who just liked to read all the time? And
Yeah.
there was a funny
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies, and he's like, "Yes, I can just read," and then his glasses
No.
break.
No, I finally had time. I had all the time.
Twilight Zone's not
Ironic.
He's blind AF.
I know. That was like no. To me, that was like
Where
such
are you
a
going to find
simple.
an optometrist if everyone's dead?
There's so
That's the
many
point.
showpieces
Yeah.
in an optometrist's office.
True.
Just find one that works.
Yeah.
What if it's
Also,
not your prescription.
Now we're
magnifying
diving in
glasses
deep
are a
about
thing.
this Twilight Zone episode. It's not that bad, dude. Just go find one.
Just go find something. He wasn't blind.
No, he just couldn't see very well.
Just hold the book right here
Yeah,
in front
full.
of your face.
No one's gonna disturb you. Everyone's dead.
Buy large print books. Or learn Braille.
What I love about
Helen Keller did.
I'm like, what is your deal with Helen Keller today?
I've mentioned her twice.
That's 2 times more
Still,
than most people
yeah,
mention
it's
Helen
the
Keller
man a
within
day.
Really?
Yeah.
You have not been to a history teacher's class then.
Fair assumption.
Yeah.
He's just like,
I mean, no, like
I
literally,
guess.
like you're a 24-year-old man. You probably have not been to a history teacher's class.
in the past.
It's been
Years.
a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a good minute.
What I love about horror music too, and just anything that, it's not even the music; it's the sound design in horror. You know, in horror films and video
Tension.
games too. I love the ideas they come up with for the sounds for horror films. You've seen that thing? I can't remember who exactly it was that made it. It was a sound design artist, but all he did was like, I guess it was like a wind chime or something that had some like spindles on it, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna use that," and like turn it upside down and just like runs a violin across it. It makes
Yeah.
those like screechy sounds.
Yeah.
And then for like the like the wind chime, the sound,
Yeah.
like he just runs like a xylophone thing across it and then like shakes it. It goes. Whoa.
They made a
I'm
whole
like,
machine
who comes
around
up with
that.
this stuff? That's amazing.
Like a whole scary movie instrument was created from
Yeah.
that idea. It's like this huge contraption where it's just like crazy little sounds, and there's a cool video
it looks
on
like
it.
it looks like a chaos pad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
like the creepiest sounds out
Yeah.
there.
For those
But
that
it's
don't know what
cool.
a chaos pad is, imagine you were on a bunch of LSD and you're like, why don't I just make an instrument when I touch it, it makes crazy sound. And then if I touch it in that same place, makes different sound.
Isn't it called
Basically, if you took a bunch of LSD and you said, I'm going to build a keyboard with keyboard components that you had lying around, but then you ran out of them and you took your old Bop It and you just started putting random stuff there, that's a chaos pad.
Yeah, and then they came out with a chaoscillator, which
Oh,
was like
yeah.
A chaos.
way gnarly.
Which those I
You
mean
ever heard
those,
of a chaoscillator?
That's
That sounds
weird.
gnarly.
It's got
though.
knobs though on this one.
those are all. I mean, those are all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Twist it,
Twist it.
Yes.
pull
Bop
it,
it, screech it.
Pinch it. Lick
Yeah.
it.
And they became like little like chaos pedals, but yeah, those are crazy. But yeah.
Stroke it. I mean, those are all kind of based off the theremin, though.
Dude, the theremin is weird.
It's such a weird.
That's
instrument.
it. The theremin.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I know
the
what you're
name.
talking about.
The theremin is weird.
Dude.
That's
It's like
weird
I'm
science,
gonna
man. Weird
have-
science.
I'm gonna have this pole like this, and it's gonna shoot out an electromagnetic wave, and I bump my mic, and there's gonna be another one like this, and then you put your hand through it, and it goes.
Yeah.
And the Beach Boys were like, "Yeah, dude, totally.
And they
You know
used
what?
it.
That gives me good vibrations." That's the name of the song.
Oh my gosh.
Have you never put two and two together before? with
I
that?
didn't, but I just did. Wow.
They did
And
a
the look
lot
on his
of
face means that he
acid.
got 5.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Did I miss something just then?
I made a bath joke.
Oh,
It's all right.
I like math.
Oh my gosh.
I like
Yeah,
turtles.
so I like turtles. So yeah, so you know, it's without horror music that we don't have horror movies because that's
There's
like. Could you imagine
one-
watching like Jason chase those stupid kids around without his
Just put SpongeBob
without
music
his-
behind it. And see how that goes.
and the tension
Great.
building music?
Now
like,
I've got this image of Jason, and he comes around a corner, and it goes, "Are you ready, kids?"
Who says some teenagers out at the lake? Jason Voorhees. His mom went crazy, and he drowned in the lake. Jason Voorhees.
That just happened. Somebody copyright this real quick. We got to do this.
If awesome dismemberment may be something you wish.
Jason.
Just keeps them coming.
Yeah. Then drop on the deck.
and flop like
And flop like a fish. That line can
flop like
stay.
that fish.
That line can
Yeah,
stay.
that line can stay. Well, I mean, if you're a fish on the deck, you're going to flop. How does a dead fish flop? Get out.
just to go like that.
Just one flop.
There is
yeah, so it's-
one. I guess it's horror. It's more suspense, but I always thought it was more of a horror movie.
What's that?
That doesn't have any ambient music.
What was that?
It is Signs.
Okay, no. Oh wait,
is that
no?
considered
Yeah,
a
they
horror
they had a
film?
lot of build up, but yeah, as far as
But,
ambient-
They
like,
had sound
no,
effects, but
no,
they
no,
had
no, wait,
sound
wait,
effects.
wait.
They
Wait,
didn't
wait.
have ambient
They
music.
did have ambient music in the scene where he's in the cornfield for the first time and he's going out with the flashlight.
But when
and the
he-
leg goes in, the whole time he's in up like okay for a while it's dead silent because you just see like the wide shot of him and he's shining the light, and then there is ambient music as he's like running
I'm
away.
saying
towards it.
there's not like okay. So in the scene where he's in his daughter's room, she's like, meh,
oh,
and
and
he like
sees him on-
sees.
There's
There's no
gives me
build-up-
chills, man.
There's no
movie kept
build
that
up
was
music to
creepy.
that scene.
Oh, it's just like yeah, that's right. You're right.
That's
you're
what I'm
right.
saying. That they
You're right.
instead of like because normally you would have like a swelling crescendo
You get like something about
on
that.
the
And suddenly,
reveal.
ta-da!
Yeah, but they don't do that.
You're right. Yeah.
Which is
Move,
impressive.
children, vamonos. That's all I remember.
It's to your point, that's the most vivid horror movie that I can remember that has actually like kept me up for like weeks.
Really?
I
Movie
scared
I
the
was
crap
younger,
out of me.
But that movie, I could not sleep for the longest time. I kept remembering that alien at the last
Keep
scene.
a cup of water by your bed
and a baseball
Man.
bat.
and a baseball bat
Yeah.
and Joaquin Phoenix. Crazy hair.
No, that was a scary movie, man.
It was.
like that scene specifically where he sees the alien on the roof and he jumps up.
gosh,
I was
dude,
like,
forget it.
I was terrified. It gives me chills right now, just because that scene is so amazing. Like it is. It's an amazing scene. And then
Seeing Scary Movie and like they
That ruined it. Yeah, that ruined it. Yeah,
yeah,
because every time you're right. Every time I
But it was-
I watch that movie, I think of it.
the knife underneath the
but it was eerie. Like
skirt.
when they're like running around outside the house and it's on the roof, and then suddenly it's
Oh, yeah.
behind them, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my! And you see
Oh,
it going
yeah.
through the cornfield. You're like, dude.
So dexterous.
Ugh, it's scary, man. Like that movie was scary up until the end.
Hey, you guys remember when M. Night Shyamalan was good? I remember. Remember before Avatar?
I remember.
Avatar sucked. That movie was scary in its own right.
Just because it was made, like,
Yeah.
whoa, someone took this on you.
I don't know about that.
But of course, with horror music and ambient sounds, that was translated well into video games, of course.
Yeah, I mean, originally, the very first horror game that had like some kind of like terrible DOS like 8-bit track that I remember was I Have No Mouth, but
And I must scream, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Yeah, we remember this.
I must be too young for that one.
I'm
probably.
brought.
That's before
it
your
was
time.
like it was a DOS game.
That's before your time. Do you know what DOS is?
I know it, Dawson.
Okay, cool.
It was a DOS.
It was that.
a DOS game.
It was
It was
that.
based off of a Robert Heinlein book of like short stories, like, and they were all horror stories, and they were terrifying, and the game was terrifying. It looks like garbage. Like today, it like it just
It's
looks
bad.
terrible.
Graphically, it's not pleasing.
But it Freak
Well, I'm
me.
sure if it's on
Freak
DOS.
me right the hell out.
Yeah. See, I'm brought to
You're looking it up.
my 1997 foray into Pokemon, and you get to
Lavender Town.
And even though it's 8-bit, oh,
We had this discussion about Lavender Town and the creepy
wasn't
kid.
here.
We did.
Oh, it
was
was
Billy.
Brian or Billy that was here. Yeah, you weren't
He's
here.
been gone that long.
It's
You
been a
forgot his name.
while. We had a discussion.
okay, you forgot I wasn't here. Apparently,
We had a discussion about Lavender Town, but do you remember the big controversy with Lavender Town about like how it was like making kids kill themselves and stuff like that? And there was like weird code in the waveform
I
and all
did
that
hear
stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah.
heard
We
about
had
the
a whole-
conspiracy theory.
Pokemon's had a bunch of that crap coming up.
This is
and
what
down.
it looked like.
Okay.
But that was years
This
ago.
is
That
you.
was on like Pokemon
This is
Red
you
Blue.
hanging in a meat locker.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a little bit better than I thought it would look.
Terrifying.
I mean,
Game.
DOS is still bad.
That was
Yeah.
great, but that was a terrifying game, and I played it when I was like.
Before we
9.
continue, I have to read this thing.
No.
Do you?
I have
He
to.
has to.
You have to.
I really have to.
Or what?
Want to.
Oh, he wants.
No, I have to. I signed a contract. I want to
Sold your
remind
soul to
everyone
the
that this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Audible. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode of the Really Likable Geeks podcast. Audible has an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original shows, news, and more that you can listen to on your phone, iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Dang it. For our audience, Audible is offering a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. We recommend to you It by Stephen King. And you can keep that book even if you cancel. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/RLG and browse their unmatched selection of audio content. It's that easy. audibletrial.com/RLG. Again, that's audibletrial.com/RLG. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring the Really Likable Geeks podcast. I hate you for dabbing, Dillon. Stop it.
Bro, I got a dab.
Stop.
Audible,
Next thing you'll be
man.
doing a Harlem Shake. Punch you in the throat.
See, that's so like 2013, 14.
Dabbing is so forever.
Dabbing
However
is
long
still
it's
pretty
been.
fresh.
It's dumb.
I watched a video today
Stop
on
dabbing.
a relevant
Stop
platform.
dabbing.
Stop
that had
being
some
so
dabbing in it.
2000 late, Steve. All right.
Stop dabbing. It's bad for your health.
I'm pro dabbing. Oh my gosh. Proposition 34.
Wow.
I am inclined to go somewhere with that I shouldn't. I'm going to not.
Good.
Moving on.
But yeah, so last time on the podcast we talked
Why proud of
about
myself for that?
specifically horror video games. We talked about Outlast, Resident Evil.
Ugh.
Outlast. I'm gonna go back and talk about Outlast. And our religious listener, Steve Dawson, will love the fact that we're talking about Outlast again.
Okay.
Shout out to Steve Dawson. But
Why
the
do you have to
music-
say he's religious?
He listens to us religiously.
religiously?
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to insist that he was a religious person. And I
It
was
was,
like,
you were
it was
listening.
no, it was an ambiguous sentence.
Yeah.
You,
Because I was heading into
because you didn't modify
What
the subject
was-
correctly, but all right.
Outlast 2 was full of religion and stuff.
It's fair.
okay.
I guess.
So anyway, so I was making that, but you ruined that joke. So anyways, Outlast had wow. All right, how about you guys take it then? Jeez.
Outlast scary.
Well, if you're going to let me take it, I'm
game.
going to go in a completely different direction.
Sure.
I'm going to take it to a horror game we didn't talk a whole lot about last time.
Sorry, Steve. We're not talking about Outlast. It was great. It was
Right
scary.
now, we could come back to it.
Maybe stop hitting so many pop flies.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know.
Well, I hear
him.
you're religious. Maybe you
I
could
don't
pray.
even. I don't even know him.
Yeah, that was kind of bad.
What are you talking about?
You know, I want to throw it back to the Left 4 Dead.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I remember the witch. She was hanging out there in the
And how any music that was playing would stop as soon as she was nearby.
Oh man. That was
And
frightening.
then you'd start hearing just from a distance this like sobbing.
Yep. I couldn't play that game alone. I had to have my friends.
Just standing over your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Okay, did you play Left 4 Dead 2?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the sugar mill?
No.
That was the level where like you got through the first maybe 10% of it and you come up over a fence and then the entire field is just
yeah.
filled with witches
Yes.
milling
yes,
back and forth.
Yes. Okay, I do remember that.
Oh.
Oh man.
And the whole time you're just trying to not get caught and all you hear is this crying from every direction.
yeah.
GG scrub. Uninstall. You're not making it past that.
It's not. It's not just the music itself that can build a kind of spoopy atmosphere. It's also the absence of any music, especially
Yes.
when you've become so inundated to it.
Yeah, just play
as you're
PT.
going.
Because the parts where there was no music in that game,
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's such a freaky game that I wish they had actually made.
Congratulations, Dillon, you broke Steve.
I was not expecting. I was just like, what is he doing? For those of you who don't know what just happened because you're listening and not watching, Dillon blew vape smoke into his cup and then poured it out on the table. But he let it sit in there for a little bit, so I forgot about it. Oh my gosh.
So Steve
That
watched
was
Dillon
great.
pour this out with this look on his face like, why? Why are you pouring this out of the
Spooky
table?
atmosphere.
Oh, surprise, it wasn't water like you thought it was.
It was vape. Oh.
It's not vape smoke. I mean, what does vape stand for?
Vapor.
Oh, all
Water
right.
vapor.
Vapor.
It really was water he poured out on the table.
Technically, it was, man.
Oh.
Okay, boom. Wasn't gonna leave you hanging there.
Actually, vape is propylene glycol and it's not water, but that's okay.
Okay, let's get technical.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Vape Nation.
Hit him.
Hashtag rep.
Hit him with that condensation, Steve.
What was the chemical formula for it?
I don't make it.
I'll take that.
I just know it's in it.
H2O.
Anyway,
Chemistry.
That sounds
this podcast is going
suspiciously-
horribly wrong. I would love
Moving
to.
on. There's not a whole lot of music that's specifically in the horror genre. I think probably Marilyn Manson is the only one who like
We could argue that,
comfortably fits
Who?
Marilyn Manson.
Oh yeah, that guy's out of his mind.
Did you see?
Maybe some old school Ozzy.
Hopefully he's okay.
You mean old school Ozzy? Ozzy's still out of his mind.
No, but I
he's
mean
still-
like when he was biting off heads.
You mean he's not doing that still?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know. He's doing the comfort of his own home. Dude.
That's fair. That's actually a very
drugs is a thing.
You can see what he did in the comfort of his own home.
Oh yeah, you
He had a
can.
reality
had a
show
reality
for
show.
many
That
years.
that's probably on the internet too.
Yeah,
That was awful.
Marilyn Manson, dude, that guy's
Hopefully he's okay.
guy's a wacko, man.
You saw what happened recently, right?
To Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
No, what?
His set fell on him
Yeah.
What?
at like a concert like a week ago.
Oh
It was
really?
a prop gun.
It was
wasn't
like
it?
two giant
Yeah,
prop
two
guns
giant
and
like
it
revolvers
fell
that
on
were
him.
props,
I'm gonna
and one of them
look
came
this
down. on
up.
his
This
head.
sounds.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's time to go, it's time
Oh
to go.
yeah.
Did he die?
He did not die.
No.
I guess we all would have heard about that.
Not to mention,
was a
Stuart would
stupid
not be
question.
talking about how like I hope he's gonna be okay.
Okay, yeah.
You don't normally say that when someone dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's fine. He's rich. He can afford like magic.
That's cool.
That was my fault.
Magic doctors,
He can afford magic doctors.
black magic doctors,
Black
Super
magic
sophisticated alien hospital.
from the future.
where they probably play scary music.
Are you watching the
Wow,
video?
seriously,
now?
that's how we're
I
gonna do this.
didn't know it was going on. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
is
That's
it.
how we're gonna do
Watch.
Right
this.
here.
Set
Make more
falls
work
on.
for you.
Yeah, those pistols just fall on him.
Clonk.
Dang, this
I
is
guess
a-
he starts to like climb it.
As you would
And
do.
they weren't
you know what? As
properly
you do,
secured.
As you do.
Hey, you're Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Like I can't
Hey,
fault him for
Marilyn
that.
Manson.
Why not?
You've got a set back there. You're rocking out. Climb up.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Bad.
Dang.
That's bad.
He
They looked very heavy.
Wow.
went down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh
And-
my
And
god.
those potatoes
Not
were mashed
good.
after the pistols fell on him.
After they fell on him.
Wow.
It's still going on.
Dude, it's
guess,
funny because like it falls and it's like the guys off the stage like, well, that's gonna fall. We should probably nope. Oh, there it goes. Like, and then they started to like because it started running in as it was like barely even teetering.
Because they were probably going to run in and then went, wait, I
Wow.
shouldn't be on stage because it's not falling yet. And then it fell and they went, oh, crud, we should probably go save him.
Oh my god! Which reminds me
Dang.
of I don't know if you guys maybe you've seen just the clip of it, but the like assistant
Someone's
during Megyn Kelly's like live interview who just like walked in front of the camera and was like and just like walked out.
Oh, he was like,
Walks away, yeah.
Dude, how do you not see the camera? Like, what are you doing? Get off the set. That was hilarious.
so yeah. Well, I was going back to. We'll go back to Outlast for a minute because you guys were talking about Left 4 Dead.
All right, Dodson, this
But, yeah.
one's for you. Outlast
Jeez.
again.
The music in that game was intense. like legitimately. Running away from anything in Outlast, you didn't think the music was that great?
I mean, it was really great, but I don't know about intense. It was, like,
pretty intense. Like when you're in that locker in the second one.
That's not a tent.
Oh my goodness. Can I just
in a locker.
Can I just go get through this, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like my goodness. Pun City. Like this is ridiculous. Yeah, like anytime that you're running from anything, the music's pretty much the same, but it's still like definitely builds the attention with you trying to get away. Because it almost felt like even the music didn't feel like it got more intense when anything got closer to you. You just always felt like something was like right next to you, always, like always. In that
It was that abyss mentality where you can't look behind you for fear of what's behind you. You don't know how close it is.
Dude, that game I did not want to turn around.
Oh,
Because I didn't want to know
turn
how
around in any
far.
horror
I didn't
game.
want to know
I
how
just can't.
far away or how close.
You did not want to know how close the bad guys got.
Exactly.
They didn't catch you. That's all it's good. It's
Because it was like a few things. It was like, is it my fault or is it just a scripted thing where like I can't get away? Either way, I don't want to know. I want to just keep going that way and hope for the best. And then more stuff starts coming. You're like, oh crap, and the music hasn't changed. Like, it was gnarly.
Man, I can't do scary games.
You can't. Have you
I
played any
can't.
scary games?
I have, but I can't. Like there was this one time I wanted to be a gaming YouTuber, and I did like you know how the whole scare PewDiePie thing. He was doing it, and I wanted to do one, and so I did one. Oh man, I couldn't handle it.
What were you
could
playing?
not handle it. It was this game. Maybe you guys will know what it is. I don't remember the name, but we were in this like warehouse type thing, and you ran away from this orange beast, and it would follow you, and you had to get away from it. It was a glowing orange, like super freaky looking thing. I forget what it was, but
Do you remember what console it was on?
it was PC. It was PC, yeah.
Do you remember like what era we're talking about? Like, was it 8-bit? Was it?
It wasn't 8-bit. It kind of felt, it had like a Slender vibe.
Was it 3D?
3D.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the only thing I remember is just like screaming at the top of my lungs, like could not, like just throwing my headset, like running away. I can't do it. I can't turn around. I make no progress in those games. I make none because I just stiff up. I can watch people play them, but no, you could forget it if I'm in control.
So, if we were in a horror movie, we just throw you first.
We don't
You
even
know,
have to throw him first. He'll
maybe-
freeze up. We can leave.
Maybe I would act different in an actual horror situation. Is that debatable?
I feel yes.
Maybe.
If a game scares you, then what if like an actual monster? Was,
I want to make a point to what Steve was saying because he mentioned the script. I think I have a lot of fear of scripts in games where if I turn around, it's going to trigger something to be right behind me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like a subconscious
Whereas
fear.
in real life, no one can ever sneak up on anyone.
Well, they can, but it's less like, oh, the computer's just going to put it there and it's going to scare the crap out of me.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's also where sounds come in because you guys are used to playing these games and watching these movies.
Yeah.
With different sounds and stuff like that. And your mind plays tricks on you. So, say if you were in a situation like that, like somebody doesn't sneak up on you, but you think back to something that you saw.
Yeah.
That you heard.
We're also
Yeah.
trained as people who play video games to know that a crescendo in music means
Something's
going to
go down.
Something's happening.
When the beat
Right.
changes from
So-
50 BPM
Like 120.
to 120,
Yeah. To
that
take
means
it-
something's happening.
To take it right back to Left 4 Dead, when the music kind of dies out and then it starts building up and the screen starts rumbling,
Sometimes
you
go
know
down.
something bad is going to happen.
But hey, like the great thing about some of
then
those
something attacked
games or
first of all.
movies
Yeah.
is they play to that crescendo. Like the crescendo's
yeah.
coming, it's coming, and then nothing.
And then nothing.
And then 3 seconds later, someone comes crashing through the wall or something. And you're like, Jesus! Like, yeah.
Fear did that. Fear did that
Fear did
a
that
lot.
a lot.
Fear
Stupid
because
girl, go away.
Fear would have the ambient music,
me
and then
off.
it would suddenly
stop.
cut in the middle of like a movement, and you'd be like,
and you're ready for it,
where is it?
and it wasn't
Where
there.
is it?
And then like,
It's like, oh, it's
you
past.
keep going, and like 30 seconds later, the music would quietly like come back, and you're like, okay, everything's fine.
Man, I get
And then
so
you
sick
turn
of
quick.
wanting to do that stuff.
Tiny girl.
Oh, that's right. You would turn around and she would just be there.
Yeah.
You're like, just go
Like,
away. Why are you there?
Just turn around and there she
Just
was.
climbing
She
down a
is.
ladder, minding my own business. Well, better turn down this hall. Oh no!
Yeah.
Tiny girl in dress.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like when we went to Universal and I thought that we were okay because we passed the guy
Yeah.
in the move. We were like, oh, we passed
Oh, she freaked right out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bent down, I freaked out.
The other thing was during the Shining maze. Do you guys remember the scene where Danny's going past the room and there's that guy in like the dog suit about to blow that businessman?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's a guy in a dog suit in The Shining who's about to he's like on his knees
Yeah.
in between the legs of like this business guy and like in the room and like they just like look
They
at
just
Danny.
him. You guys ever seen the 30 Seconds to Mars music video, The Kill?
I'm really sorry.
The
My
30
mind went
Seconds to
somewhere
Mars,
else.
30 Seconds to Mars music video, The Kill has it's
Yeah.
The Shining, and that scene is in it.
So
Where he
anyways,
looks in the
there
hotel
was,
and
learn the guy's
there
name?
was this thing.
huh?
Do you learn the guy's name?
Do I look at the guy's name?
Do you learn the guy's name?
Why would you do? He's
Why-
a ghost.
He's a ghost.
Have you seen The Shining? Do you know what I'm talking
Do
about?
you see where I'm going with it?
I do. I'm
Okay.
ruining it because it's not funny.
You are no fun.
Nope.
Well,
Anyways,
Anyways.
the
that
we
scene's
thought it was like a prop because the guy was just making repetitive motion with his wrist, and right when we walked by, he was like, "Blah!" got right in her face and freaked her out.
Every space where somebody could like pop out of the wall, I was standing on that side. Even when I switched sides, it was like on that side.
Can never win.
you'll never win.
You'll never win.
I almost punched a dude
It
at
didn't
Knott's Berry
matter.
Farm.
I mean, she
Yeah.
saw.
I'm sure they get hit
Speaking
all the
of
time.
Knott's Berry Farm, the last time I went, it was a long time ago. But my girlfriend at the time and Andrew, my buddy Andrew, we were there with his girlfriend too, and we were walking behind the girls, and they were leading us to whatever new maze or ride or whatever they're gonna go on, and whatever. And we saw these two dudes with the the knee pads. They were gonna try to scare us. They're
Oh, the
sneaking up
sliding,
behind
yeah.
us, and we turned back at them, and they realized they've been seen. And they're like, "Well, they're gonna break off." And me and Andrew look at each other. And we each take a step to the side, opening up the spots we were in for those two guys. And those two guys just kind of like took the bait, went in, and now they're following the girls. And we just take a few more steps back and slow down and just watch it all unfold. Because eventually, a good 2-3 minutes later, the girls are finally blah, 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 whatever. They turn around to ask us our opinion or whatever it was. They turn around. It wasn't us. And they freaked.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I almost punched a guy at Knott's Berry Farm, not Scary Farm, when I went with my dad and my sister and stuff. She was crazy. My sister came. She was on vacation here, and we went. And it was the haunted asylum, and they had really like awesome like ambient music. It was the show. There was some. It was from some TV show too that was putting it on like Sci-Fi or something, and they had like really good like creepy music. And throughout the maze, there was these laser walls where it had like fog, and there was laser walls, and you would just walk through them, no big deal.
Right.
Well, I went around this corner, and I was like, there were some things that had like little, jump scares, whatever. Of
course,
like,
as there are.
I was like, man, wow. And some of them you could see them coming. You're like, oh, whatever. Like, not really too freaked out, but there was one specific spot that I almost just decked this guy. He scared the crap out of me. And afterwards, I was like, dude, that was good, because there was a large fog wall, and we had to go to the right, and there was a laser that was coming across, so it was kind of going up and down, and all he did was stick his face out through the fog, and I was like, yeah! I was like, oh my gosh, it scared me so bad.
See, I have
and I
a-
was like, dude,
Just
that
a
was
face.
good. It scared the crap out of me.
I have a very different reaction to like
It's the only time I've ever wanted
horror
a deck of dude for
movies
scaring me.
or like jump scares.
And the music was good.
And
in that
the
too.
producer Joey can attest to this. I laugh uncontrollably.
Really?
That's my reaction.
That's interesting.
Like the
Everyone
jump
reacts
scares
differently.
that she screams at, I'm like, "Mah," and just like laughing.
But I don't know if it's because like how some people have a weird reaction to like
Right.
deal with it. Like if that's part of it.
No,
I just think it's funny.
I just think it's funny that you got scared.
No, I just even if I'm by myself, I laugh at horror movies.
Really?
Stupidest things that I got.
Huh.
Like what was
That's
the
interesting.
That got me? It was the straw guy.
Oh yeah, we were going through the American Horror Story.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
That was stupid.
One of the
It got you, so it wasn't.
one of the zombies because he was walking like a step behind us in our blind spot, and then he just poked his head right around your shoulder.
That's amazing.
Else there.
That was the thing.
Have gotten me.
Oh, but he won, and you lost because you four got scared.
And I was just laughing, so people didn't know what to do with that. Like,
They're like, that guy is on
oh,
something.
the
That's crazy.
That guy's demented.
The headless guy. I pointed him out to you in a chair. There was like a guy, and he was like had the headless, shoulders. He was sitting in a chair. I was like, it's a guy right there. Like,
Oh, nice.
Fake, because how can he be heavy?
I was like,
though.
because his shoulders are
yeah,
2
yeah.
feet. Like,
Duh.
It scared you?
yeah, he popped out of the chair. I pointed at him. I was like,
Because
that's
she
a
went,
guy.
that's not a guy. And then it was a guy.
That was a guy. That was a guy.
That was that dude.
That was that dude.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah, I love that stuff.
But
Throughout all of the mazes, too.
Oh, yeah, they had the Shining music, which was awesome.
In the Shining, like, all the mazes, they had music to go
Yeah.
with it, too. So, I mean, like, even in real life, when you're going through stuff like that, like, music plays a part.
it
Yeah.
does.
I like that they did the scenes from The Shining, too, because you walked into one room and it was the hallway with the elevators and the blood.
Oh yeah.
And then another room was
Like, the
Jack.
Insidious one,
Yeah.
they had the song.
There's a lot of like but again, it all
That
goes
movie
back
was
to
stupid
it all
to
goes
me.
back to the music though. Without the music, even in those like mazes and stuff like that, not really that scary.
No, they
Because
were.
it actually also covers a lot of things that you would hear ahead of you.
To throw it
behind
back,
you.
to throw it back to the start of this podcast, if you were to walk through a maze at Universal or Not Scary Farm and they were playing the SpongeBob SquarePants opening theme, probably not so scary.
Or if they were just playing nothing, I don't think you would hear everything.
But not as much because there's not the buildup. So you'd still go, ugh, but it wouldn't be freaking you out.
Tension building.
right.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
I think the scariest soundtracks are the ones where it's like it's kind of happy sounding, and then it just starts to slowly get detuned.
Yeah, that
You know
demented.
what I mean?
Yeah.
As he's like, oh no, what's going on?
Like a halfway broken Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
That was.
So I
They
just
did
imagine
that.
the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, and then slowly detuning
In the-
into, frightening things.
You wind the thing, and that's
You know when it's gonna happen. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
pop.
but
It's not scary
when
until
they-
a real head
we
pops
get
out.
it.
But
You're
the
like,
thing
oh.
is, when they take that tune
Oh, that's
and make
weird.
it demented, like you were
Right.
saying, it gets a little creepy.
They did
on
that in the new It
Makes sense,
Yeah, they
clown.
did.
when he's
Several times.
doing that crazy dance, like coming at the children.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is he
Dude, that
doing?
dance was like instantly memeified.
so freaky.
Instantly.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen it?
In the original?
No, in the new one.
I haven't seen the new one.
You haven't seen the new
Oh.
It?
I said that at the beginning of the
No, but I mean,
Okay.
but I mean, like the video of him dancing has been like
halfway-
blown up.
I
The
haven't
halfway
seen it at all.
motion you were making, I haven't seen the video even, but it makes
He's
me,
doing the like
like, it looks like
this
Cotton
and
Eye Joe.
kicking his
Oh,
legs
so
out.
he's
That's what he's
Pennywise
doing.
dancing
clown.
But like to
Yeah.
demented circus music. So like the bell, you know,
Yeah.
the pipes, the
Yeah.
grinder pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like coming at the children like that. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Coming at kids all crazy.
Dude's nuts.
Yeah. That was fun. He, I guess,
Hey, how did he play Pennywise, by the way? How did he do
he did really,
It was
he
really
did really
good.
well.
Really?
He did a great job.
Tim Curry good?
It's different.
It is different. Yeah.
It's like if you asked me to compare
apples to oranges.
Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger.
Oh God.
They were both good.
That's hard.
But they were different. They were both fantastic
That's-
jokers, but they were
yes.
different.
Fair
Very
enough.
different.
It's like saying StarCraft to World of Warcraft.
StarCraft.
They're good, but
Same company.
both good.
Different game.
Different universes.
Or are
I
they?
like StarCraft.
Are
Or
they?
are they?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's been
Conspiracy.
some.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, they're different universes.
Did you ever hear
They are.
about the overarching conspiracy that all of Joss Whedon's work are the same universe?
Yeah. So Firefly is also
The same universe
the
as
same
Buffy
universe as Buffy
and Angel. I don't know if you ever watched
and the
Buffy.
Avengers.
I haven't.
and the Avengers.
Oh.
different times.
Yes.
Yes, but
Firefly
still.
would be the future of Buffy, where in that one season of Buffy when she was in college and there was the Initiative, that like military organization that was like harvesting monsters to like use them for military purposes or whatever. That became is it the Blue Sun Corporation in Firefly?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Later.
Blah blah blah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
There's that.
So that was a very random
It was.
thing.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. We're running out of
About
things to talk
random
about because horror music isn't something we could talk about for an hour
Because
and a half.
we derail ourselves all the time.
You derailed us.
Yeah, but what if
You've been derailing us all night.
We derail ourselves all the time.
No, you've been derailing us specifically.
noises? Okay, so
I talked about that.
You talked about the songs that stuck with you. What about like noises in general?
The Foley. I think
Okay,
the
okay.
most iconic horror sound, just sound effect,
Is the Wilhelm scream.
No. Jason's, yeah.
Because what is that? Why is he making that sound?
I think it's the very high pitched shriek whenever a fast turn.
Oh, that.
Because he's so fast, he's always keeping up with you, even though he's walking.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
See?
I'm talking more about like chainsaw.
Yeah, that
Like I don't like that one.
Okay, so I
Just
have
that-
an
that-
interesting story.
pulling the
Yeah.
motor just started going from
I have an interesting
massacre.
story.
That instantly became an icon.
Yeah.
Long time ago. I think I was around 6 or 7. My parents and I went to Walt Disney World, and there was a, I guess we'll call it an encounter. It was like a
Was it a close one?
for them. Yes, they actually got to go
Of the
up on
third kind?
stage. Not so much for me.
How many kinds was it?
7 degrees, I believe. Kevin Bacon was there.
It's 6. Continue.
I know, and that's the joke.
It wasn't funny.
Anyway, you're not funny. All right.
I thought it was funny.
This
It's going horribly
It
wrong.
is. But anyway, the whole thing was they put on a horror movie, and they pulled people from the audience to come out, and they gave them like each person got a job. You man the stairs, you man the door, you man the chandelier or whatever, and they each had a sound effect, and it was supposed to be scary, and they played it at the time they were supposed to. It's like someone's coming down the stairs and someone's supposed to hit the creaks for each stair.
Right.
And the person's watching it and trying to hit it as they hit it. So they do it with the people from the audience, and there's no horror, there's no tension because everyone's missing their cues left and right. The person's coming down the stairs, they're on the second
It's like
stair,
a
and then
duck
it's
quacking.
like creak, creak, and then creak, creak, and it's like, it's beyond ridiculous.
Right.
Then they go through afterwards and they show you, okay, so this is how it would have been done in a professional setup, boom, boom, boom. And it was actually mildly scary because the way they did it was right. They did the lights right. They did the sound effects right. They did the flashes and the thunder and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sound effects were really key. But it was a pretty cool, like, I don't even know what they'd call that experience, I guess, to be able to have it show how effective the sounds are. Because when they weren't right, I mean, I was a 7-year-old and I wasn't scared at all.
Like, this is comedy.
So this is actually kind of funny.
It's kind of sad that Foley artists, which is what the guys are called, they're called Foley
Right.
artists. If you didn't know,
Yeah.
the more you know. It's
Learn something every day.
sad that Foley artists are getting replaced with just like sound boards.
Computers.
Yeah, where you
FL
can,
Studio.
yeah,
Organic sounds.
See, I don't like that because I think there will always be a place for a guy like in a room with a bunch of random props, like in the projector, and just like
Banging on stuff with a microphone.
hitting a shoe on a watermelon. That's the sound that
That's the
this
sound of
makes.
something.
That's the sound of someone getting
Yeah.
punched in the face.
That's the sound of someone's head exploding.
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just.
Makes
I
sense.
always because I forget there was a documentary about it and they showed the guy like actually doing the sound effects. This is the most insane
It gets
job.
I think it would be
That's
fun.
a cool job, though. What do? I just make
Like ruffling
sounds
chains around
and record it, and
Yeah.
then
I beat
mess with it.
fruit
foil
with
and
shoes.
stuff.
Like
I punch a lot of rugs.
what's
It's like
the sound
weird
effects
stuff.
the sound effects supervisor for Star Wars, like the sounds that R2D2 makes is he took a mic and he took the cap off of it and he went to by his house there were
I
the
gotta try
big
this.
there were the big transformers and the electrical transformers and he went to those guy wires that hold it in case of high winds and he just started rubbing it on the guy wire and that's how he made the R2D2 like squeaks and
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, you
It's
know,
just
like-
such a random.
You know, like the lightsaber sound,
Yeah.
right? You know what that was?
What was that?
So the tube TVs, when you turn them on, like a wow, when they would turn on, a boo, and so they would just they put a mic back there and then just could record the boo, like hum of like a TV and
What
then
about, like,
edit it.
like the shrieking part of it, like
That's
think-
just stretched out like
just
versions
stretched
of it
out?
and
Yeah.
pitch
That's
different pitches
insane.
and stuff. Yeah,
it's amazing.
weird.
Foley artists.
Foley artists are amazing.
I
They're
just
cool, man. I wish I
That
had
would be a
that
lot
job.
of fun.
yeah.
Like you had to think about it, like someone had to record the sound of a ricochet bullet.
Yeah, I don't even
Like that's
know.
crazy. How many times did they shoot something to get that sound?
Well,
And
I
how
mean,
many different
if
sounds do they
you-
get?
If
you ever go shooting and you actually hear the ricochet sound?
You
Frightened.
drop.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Move.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, one of us isn't dead yet. That's good.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
Ricochet.
You have? Like a bullet? How did that go?
It was mildly painful.
He's here.
Yeah. Do you have a wound?
I mean, I had one. It didn't scar.
I wish
okay.
anyone else could hear this conversation with you talking with your face like 5 feet away from the mic.
This thing is not very sturdy. It slid away so many times.
You were like all the way down here.
I was like this.
You guys ever seen
No,
that?
you aren't.
Have you guys ever seen that video of the guy that has like a sniper rifle and he shoots and the bullet comes
earmuff.
back and then it hits his earmuff?
It hits his earmuff. His earmuff shatters.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like he hits.
gosh.
It's funny because the camera you could hear the bullet coming back. It's like, "Whoa," and then it just goes.
He
it
shoots a
takes off. The
He
thing.
shoots a 50
Hey,
cal
Doppler effect.
Yeah.
at a metal target.
And it
Maybe
comes
50 yards
flying
away.
back. And it hits
Maybe
him,
50 yards
Idiotic.
away. It
Hits
was
him
stupid.
hits him right in the head in
Oh
the
my
headphone.
gosh. Well,
Luckiest man ever.
he wasn't supposed to die, I guess.
It's crazy. But yeah, your ricochet's duck or run or something. I don't know.
It is a really
I
cool
think
sound
by the
effect,
time
though.
you hear it, it's if you hear it, then you're okay. You
I
ever
mean-
hear that theory? It's like if you hear the gunshot, then you're okay.
Originally,
Unless the bullet's coming at you, can't hear it.
I mean, if you get shot in the head, then
no.
debatable.
Originally, there weren't, when movies first got sound, there weren't Foley artists for like gunshots or anything, because the first movies that had guns in them and people shooting
Western films.
were before, but that was before blanks were invented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they were
actually-
shooting real bullets at each
Yeah.
other.
And some of them, like for some of the sound effects that they would use, were whip cracks. Just whip
Yeah.
crack. Like, and they would
But if
just-
you ever see an old,
same thing with punches too.
and I can't think of his name now. Old black and white movie star. He would do insane stunts with like no,
Oh, I know
like
what you're
the
talking about.
giant barn like falling, and he's
it's
like standing
in the doorway.
in the doorway. That's
Yeah.
just
That's
a
actually
real,
happening.
That's a real 1,000-pound side of a barn falling.
Yeah.
And if he missed his mark, then he was dead.
He was dead.
Same thing in his movies where he was like in gunfights. Those are real bullets bouncing off stuff around him.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to do what you had to do, I guess.
And he was just a beast.
He was crazy
Like,
because a lot of the older westerns before they had blanks, if you notice, because they are real bullets, they do a lot of shots where if two people are shooting at each other, you're looking at the guy taking the shot,
Hold on, I'm still looking.
kind of, sort of from an angle, but you don't see the other guy in the shot. And then when you do see the other guy, it's the same shot, but now you can't see
Buster Keaton.
the other
Buster
way
Keaton.
because they're not actually there. They're shooting at air, but it's just to get
It's
the
super
shots.
cool name.
Steamboat
It's
Billy
actual,
Jr.
to keep
it's
them
the actual
safer, too.
name too.
Right.
You don't
Steamboat Billy
ever
Jr.
generally see both shooting at each other
Right.
for that reason.
Yeah, so Buster Keaton was in a couple gangster movies too, and they're like with Tommy guns.
Tommy guns.
And they're unloading at each other. And there was one scene where it was him and a young girl, and a gangster, like shoots like a spray of bullets like over them to shoot
Yeah.
a mirror. It's just real bullets, just near children.
Real mirror.
Oh my gosh. That's
It was practical
insane.
back then.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
blanks
whatever to
hadn't
do to
been
get the
invented
job
yet.
done.
Can't, you know.
Wow.
That and
But then again, blanks have never
if
kept
you-
people from dying,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, the crow. And
Yeah. You ever heard that?
There's still projectiles and blanks.
No.
Well, there is.
Well,
If I shot a blank, a
I'm
gun,
dead.
you're not dead. You're horribly wounded.
At this point blank, head wound? I'm probably dead.
What's coming?
It's not
going
going
to
to penetrate. There's
Just gunpowder
there's
still.
still particulate.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Because
But
there
crow-
has to be something to hold the gunpowder in, and that gets blasted out the
Gotcha.
end.
Yeah.
This close,
What
like
about like a-
he'd probably lose an eye, but
What about like a simunition or something like that?
that
seen those?
I'm not sure about that. But I do know how blanks.
Like rubber bullets. We had a Nerf war the other night, and I almost considered just getting some rubber bullets and just sniping, but that would have been bad.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that might have been
Probably
bad.
in
I'm not gonna
jail.
say I didn't think about it.
Because rubber bullets can kill. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
I know crowd control officers are told always aim for center mass with rubber bullets.
Yes.
We'll just forget I even thought about that.
Yeah, we will.
Go beanbag shots instead. Then you can aim for the head.
Oh, no, you can't aim for the head with a
No,
beanbag.
it's the same effect. It's the same effect. Snap. There goes
No,
someone's
you
neck.
can't.
All right. On that note,
Oh man.
I think we're
Going
going to end the podcast. Oh my goodness. Thank you everyone for listening to us rant and rave about whatever the heck we're talking about today. I don't even know anymore.
Spooky music and sound
thanks.
effects.
Thanks, Dillon, for joining us on this
scary,
episode of the podcast.
Very welcome.
I appreciate you so much for coming on. Hope you had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
I had a great time. Did you?
I did. Well, it was a time.
It was a time.
That's for sure.
And it was a great, but it wasn't a great time.
Saying it was a time.
It was a time.
Oh, you can find the podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and all those links will be down here in the corner down below. And you can find direct links to those by visiting reallylikablegeeks.com. From there, you can find our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything that we are on all of our major platforms. You can find me on Twitter at that Stephen Brown.
You can usually find me avoiding Twitter at Believe the Weave.
You can find me at Stu_ no last name.
You can find me at Ampyx Official on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Reminds me of Brian. He reminds me of Brian. You can find me at the bro underscore the bro the underscore bro underscore cha underscore on Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, Ustream, Twitter, live stream, Google. Like it's just like 500 things.
Blackpeoplemeet.com.
Oh my
God.
He's on there.
Is he on there as the Bro Chacho?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I made him an account. You're welcome.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Spooky stuff.